This sculpture is in fact a real person. Dutch artist Levi van Veluw.
I was always fascinated about the head, but not really I didn't want to make a portrait of myself as a person, but more I want to use the shape of the face. So that's what it's about combining the face as an object.
Levi van Veluw lives and works near Arnhem in the Netherlands. He studied visual art and teaches photography at the Willem de Kooning Academy in Rotterdam. The young artist takes inspiration from many sources, such as nature. That's the theme he used for his 2008 photo series, Landscapes. Using scenery material for model railways, he turned himself into landscapes in the various seasons.
It was more a sort of experiment, and it's also sort of a new interpretation of these sort of old landscape paintings. Most of the times I have a sort of vague idea about what I want to do, sort of reflection on my older work. So I think about it and then I make something new. So it's an ongoing process. It's never finished.
In his latest project, Levi van Veluw works with wood. He spent 6 months sawing, lacquering, and gluing in his studio in Arnhem, meticulously assembling more than 30,000 individual pieces. Once again, the Dutchman himself becomes part of the artwork. This is his biggest project to date, and the artist requires some help.
I've never lost my patience because you're in a sort of flow and then everything comes together and then it feels quite nice and it gives you a lot of energy.
Origin of the Beginning is a life-sized installation that he photographed and filmed in several videos.
I went back to my youth when I was between 8 and 14 years old, when there was less structure at home and I was searching for control. The one with the blocks is about finding control and putting everything nicely together.
Material always plays a big role in Levi van Veluw's work. Here he chose dark walnut. The larger pieces are lacquered birch.
Origin of the Beginning is about the past, and wood is a sort of old material. And I like the atmosphere it has in itself. So it's old and it has its own story.
Levi van Veluw believes every detail is important, and he rejects digital manipulation of his photos. For Origin of the Beginning, he rebuilt sculptures and objects that remind him of his childhood. He likes to work in series, and so he made 2 additional wooden rooms. In this room, outfitted with wooden balls, the artist dealt with a nightmare from his childhood. And this installation, completely paneled with boards, is devoted to an imaginary pet. In Origin of the Beginning, Levi van Veluw was interested in space. It's larger than his earlier works.
I wanted to make a portrait like I always did, so I have this portrait just with this ratio, and then you zoom out, and I think it's interesting that it gives the other portraits a new value because you can imagine that there's a world behind.
Levi van Veluw's work is internationally recognized. His pictures, videos, and sculptures are featured in magazines and shown in galleries all over the world. Origin of the Beginning is on display in Australia until October 3rd. He says his art functions because it's universally understandable.
It's not about politics, or it's not about the environment or something social. It's just about me doing something, and it's really about the visual image, and I think people will always understand those kind of things, so they can use their own fantasy, and it's not about what they read, but they can just see the image and understand what I mean.
Levi van Veluw is planning more ways to interpret his countenance. In his newest projects, he wants to concentrate more on video installations.